Welcome back to my channel. It's payday. I'm a high school STEM teacher and I'm paid once a month. I budget every dollar I earn using a budgeting app called YNAB or You Need a Budget. This month, my gross income is $7,870.21. Let's see how far it goes. Since the start of 2025, I've been tracking my gross income, so that's where these 9 overspent categories are coming from. So if I jump to the paycheck deductions view, I can fund my retirement, which is about $500, and my other paycheck deductions, including my taxes, my dental insurance, health insurance, vision insurance, life insurance. So I will go ahead and fund that entire category group. Next up, I want to fund my true expenses. So these are non-monthly expenses and include sinking funds. So I have 2 different high yield savings accounts that I store the sinking funds in. In my February paycheck, I set aside $400 and I have increased that to $500 for this month. In my sinking fund, I'm saving up for my car insurance and my renter's insurance for about 160 bucks. Clearly, you can see I had some issues with my car this month, so I ended up pulling from that and also pulling from my emergency fund. So I do want to add a little bit extra there. And then for my household expenses, my travel, and gifts, I just want to set aside a specific amount per month. So that will take care of all of those sinking fund accounts. And annual expenses should be pretty self-explanatory. So these are things that I'm saving up to pay for once a year. So they all will come out at various points during the year. Go ahead and fund all of those. If you're new to the YNAB method, you'll notice that I'm tackling the questions a little bit out of order. So after my paycheck deductions, the first thing that I'm asking is what larger or less frequent expenses do I need to set aside money for? So that's why I fund the sinking funds first, right? So the next question is, what does my money need to do before I get paid again? So I call my next budget view 1 month ahead, but that's really just the day-to-day expenses and bills that I have to pay every month. So for the month of March, my fixed expenses are already funded. I funded those with my February paycheck. And my day-to-day I also funded with my day-to-day paycheck, but since we're halfway through the month, I've already spent a bit. So now I want to think about whether I want to top off any of these categories. It is the start of our spring break, so I want to be realistic. So I do expect that I will spend a bit more on food. So I'll go ahead and add $100 there. My household expenses look fine. And my for me category, I think I want to add $100 there as well. Right, so I think that my day-to-day and fixed expenses look good for March. So I'm going to jump forward to April. So my monthly bills, so I have brought this amount down since last month because I canceled a gym membership. So I feel good about funding that. And I do have 2 personal loans, so I don't consider these like normal debt because I'm not in a rush to pay them off. Now that I've paid off my last outstanding credit card, I think I'll start to put more money towards the principal balances for those loans next quarter. And for my day-to-day expenses, so I've been feeling pretty comfortable with the amounts that I've put so far this year, so I'm going to keep those as is and just fully fund those for April. So that addresses the third YNAB question, which is what can I set aside for next month's spending? So that leaves me with $2,302.37 to think about the last question, which is what goals, large or small, do I want to prioritize? My goals at the start of the year centered around savings and investing. But as the year has progressed, I'm leaning much more towards saving. I will jump back to March and head to my savings view. As I mentioned before, I did have to pull from my emergency fund to cover some car expenses. So I definitely want to replace what I took, but I also want to add a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1,300 to the emergency fund. Not sure how I feel just yet about putting more towards the Roth IRA, so I'm going to hold off on that for now. In my wish farm, I'm feeling pretty good about Beyonce. I'm not ready for a cat yet, so I do think that I want to trade in an older iPad for an iPad mini. So I'm going to add $600 towards that. So that leaves me with about $402.37. So I will add $100 for now. Add 102.37 to the Roth IRA. And then that last $300 I will add to my emergency fund. So a total of 1,600 towards my emergency fund. So that is it for my budgeting. So I am inside my budget every single day. So every time I buy something, I'm in my budget. I'm making adjustments as I go. Um, so if I decide that I want to change how I've delegated my money, I won't necessarily make a video for that. But for now, I feel pretty good about where I have put my money for now. So next time I get paid will be for my teachers paycheck on April 10th, and my next paycheck from my job will be on the 15th. So I hope you've seen something helpful or maybe an idea that you can incorporate in your own budget. So thank you for watching. I'm curious to hear if your money goals have shifted or pivoted since the start of the year. I feel like one part of me wants to hunker down and save for a rainy day, but another part of me wants to triple down on investing while the market is low. Right now, I'm feeling pretty conservative and leaning towards savings, but I think that I might compromise by adjusting my retirement contributions from my 403b to 10% from 5. But I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thanks for watching.